Hey everyone, I'm meteorologist Joe Murgo. It's Wednesday. That means another edition of That's Cool. And it's been a while since I showed you a really neat website that really has a lot to do with weather, but it can show you a lot of other things. And this is brought to you by NASA, and it is the NASA Worldview. I love this website. They will have stories on the front that you can see. They haven't had one up here in a while, but what they want you to do is just to go ahead and start using Worldview. And I'm going to give you a little bit of a tour and what it is. And this is a satellite view of the world. And you can go back in time. And you can tell right now, and I'll zoom into where the satellites are showing. It's bipolar orbiting satellites, and allow us to see so much more with so much resolution. The view from space is absolutely phenomenal. And this, for example, shows you the fires that are going on across the West and the smoke. It's incredible. And look at the thickness of the smoke. And you've heard a lot of stories recently in the Portland area, but when I'm checking this out now, it's the heaviest smoke, and some of the big fires are right from Salem down almost to the Dexter area. So it's basically between Portland and Medford, Oregon. And then we have also the fires that are going on in California. And I went ahead and I threw on here, and you can add different layers, and they actually have thermal anomalies that you can look at all the fires around the world. And even here, we didn't notice it at first, but there's smoke from fires that are going on across parts of Washington state. But the big fires, of course, that are making all the headlines are from Oregon down to California. And you can see the actual size of the fires and where they are. And there's even an individual one closer to the Nevada line. And I've been watching this one because it's getting dangerously close to Yosemite, one of the beautiful parks. Fresno, east of there, has been some pretty bad fires. So you can look all around the world and find different things. And yeah, there's a couple of little small fires out east. But even here, I have a pretty good satellite picture, and you notice the thick clouds that are over the Rocky Mountains. That's from the snowstorm that has been going on. And you can, again, go back in time. That's before the storm hit. And you can scroll through. And you can see different things. I have the fires on here. Let me go ahead and turn that off again. And you could play through some of these images and see. Let's see when that storm first started off. I went back way too far. Let's get closer to that storm in Colorado. Just starting to form there. Oh, nope. There we go. Starting to form up across Wyoming, Montana, and then boom, really hit hard in the Colorado area. And there's a lot to see on here. And you can go under Add Layers. You can go ahead and check out different hazards across the world, ash plumes from volcanoes, fires, and you can even take a look at the Earth at night. Let me go ahead and, this is what they call the black marble. I'll go ahead and turn this on and turn off other layers. And it may take a second to, there's no data there. I apologize. So let me turn these back on again. And so you do have to play. And, it even said that there was none there. Here's Earth at night in 2012. There you go. And if you ever wondered how much light pollution is in the world, that's a good view of all the cities, not just here, but we can go on the other side of the world and look at the lights in Europe, in Egypt, look at all the people who live around the river. the Nile. And then most of Africa, where there isn't much in the way of technology in the central and the desert of Africa, very few lights. And a lot of light pollution once you get out toward Asia. And of course, there's not much once you get toward northern Russia. In the Siberia area, not much in Greenland. And there's some in Canada, though they always, most of the people in Canada live very close to the American border. In Alberta is where you have the farthest north cities for the most part. So you can see there's a lot less light pollution there. So I thoroughly enjoy looking at this. And sometimes I'll look at the areas that are covered in snow in Greenland. And when you zoom in, the resolution just gets phenomenal. And you can see here, and this is really cool, the area where you see that brown, that's sediment that's melting off from the glaciers in Greenland. And you could look at different storm systems and clouds and floating sea ice. There's a lot of clouds often that block a lot of things. And you could even go, let me see, we can see, and this is Antarctica, and we have to look at the edges because remember it's constant night there. And you can see some of the topography, you can see some of the mountains sticking up through the snow. You can see where the ice is sticking out. So I really love looking at these images, and I highly encourage also teachers to use this and look around at different things. You can see where sea ice is. This is sea ice here on Tuesday evening. Let me go back. This is in July. And as I move forward, and it's loading a lot, but do you see how the ice is shrinking and the snow cover? And if I go back again, after I do this once, it'll be a lot smoother because it's downloading these images. And you can see the sea ice shrink during the Arctic summer season. And you can see where there's some snow in the mountains of Alaska. So this is, if you want to know what's cool, this is cool. And you can take a snapshot of what you're looking at. You could share. And sometimes I share these photos with you on my Facebook page. So, and even sometimes here on That's Cool. And I really encourage you to look at the different things that you can look at. You could tell some of the things are there, some of the things are not available. You tell how cold the clouds are. And let me go cloud temperature. Go ahead and close this. Hide some of these. Turn on some clouds. Let's go ahead and look at an Earth view. And when there's tropical activity, let's see if I can go back in time. You could follow systems in the Atlantic Ocean. The views from these satellites nowadays are just absolutely phenomenal. And the more you zoom in, the higher resolution of an image will come in. You can see the shallow water there near the Bahamas, some of the pop-up clouds. So I strongly urge you to play around with this. Again, it's called a Worldview. I'm going to put there is the website. It is at worldview.earthdata.nasa.gov. It is a lot of fun to play around and an educational tool that you can study a lot of different things weather-wise across the world, and actually just studying the surface of the world and seeing things like fires and so forth. Hopefully you enjoyed that. Hopefully you'll play around a little bit more on that. And coming up, I'll have more things that are cool. But if you think of something that really looks cool, go ahead and email it to me at murgo@wtajtv.com.